What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, what's going on in the United States, Washington, D.C., money, investing, and the next stimulus package, which is $3.5 trillion and is in the House of Representatives. They are putting the package together and are working towards the final vote, as well as also working towards the final vote of the physical infrastructure package, which is expected to happen on the 27th. Which is now only 5 days away. We're moving forward both the final votes of both of those and a government shutdown, which needs to happen by the end of this month, which is now only 8 days away. If the government doesn't come to an agreement, the Democrats and the Republicans, or the Democrats don't do it on their own, if they have time to do it on their own, we will have a government shutdown on the 30th, September 30th at midnight. We also have the debt limit ceiling to deal with, which is actually the worst of them all. As some Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says that sometime in October, if they don't come to a debt limit agreement, that the government will default for the first time ever in the history of the United States. The government will not have money to even pay for its past debt obligations. The government will default, will run out of money, and will basically have no money to pay for anything. The government will run out of money. And that will be the worst one of all of that because we've had government shutdowns before temporarily. You know, we can deal with that. That's bad. But a government default would be a first ever. It would be similar to the government temporarily going bankrupt, which is not something we want to see. And the government has a AAA credit rating, and all of that could go to the funny farm, for lack of a better word, if we don't raise the debt ceiling. So all of this is kind of in jeopardy now that that we're literally days away from all this happening. So we're going to go over all that as well as the next stimulus package and how they're going to sort all through this here within a matter of days. Also, yesterday I mentioned using the Drop app where you can shop and get rewards. You can download the app for free with the link down below in the description of this video and in the pinned comment of this video. So check it out. A new group of Republican lawmakers are filing impeachment articles against President Biden as of today at 10 a.m. Yeah, check this out. A group of 4 Republican lawmakers on Tuesday filed articles of impeachment against President Biden, saying he should be removed from office for not securing the border, for the way U.S. troops were removed from Afghanistan, and for not seeking to impose a ban on evictions, even when he said it might not pass constitutional muster. Yeah. Ohio Representative Bob Gibbs is leading the effort and is joined by fellow Republicans Andy Biggs, Brian Babins, and Republican Randy Weber from Texas. This is the second time articles of impeachment have been introduced pertaining to President Biden. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Republican from Georgia, filed articles of impeachment the day after Biden was sworn into office. But neither will go far in the House, where Democrats hold a majority in the House and in the Senate. But the latest efforts show how the introduction of articles of impeachment is becoming more common in today's polarized House. So it's very, very unlikely that these articles of impeachment will go anywhere simply because the Democrats control the House and the Senate. If the Republicans controlled the House and the Senate, it would be a very, very different matter. And remember, the Democrats tried to impeach former President Donald Trump when the Democrats controlled the House but not the Senate. The Democrats were able to impeach former President Donald Trump in the House when they controlled the House, but they were not able to impeach him in the Senate because they did not control the Senate at the time. And as that article states, it does feel like this is becoming a lot more common to even file articles of impeachment against whoever the president is for, it just feels like, you know, even just for like controversial things, not like major things like and it feels like that every year we have articles of impeachment being filed against the current president, whether it's Democrat, Republican. And the question is are we going to have this continue every single year, whether it's a Democrat or Republican president, that every single year we're going to have articles of impeachment filed against the president? I said in my video yesterday that I wouldn't want to be president because I feel like as soon as you're president, the other half of the country or the other party instantly hates you and instantly want to impeach you and they instantly think you're the worst president, whether you're Republican or Democrat. The other part in the party instantly thinks you're the worst and they instantly hate you, and you instantly get like half of America to hate you. And it's actually kind of sad, to be honest. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, the other party just instantly against you and they think you're the worst ever. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. But President Biden's approval rating is at a record low, the lowest it has ever been. At according to a new Gallup polling, at a record 43% is his approval rating. So this is the lowest it has ever been, coming after the Afghanistan situation and with this stimulus package and the infrastructure package that has not passed yet. So passing of this next stimulus package, this infrastructure package, would definitely raise his approval rating. But the problem is if we go into a government shutdown, if we have this debt limit ceiling, if the government defaults, you definitely could see his approval rating drop even further. And remember that the Republicans are the ones that have just voted against raising the debt limit ceiling in the vote that happened last night. As you can see here in this vote last night, this is a combined vote with the government shutdown bill, raising the debt limit ceiling, and there's some aid in there for both disaster relief for Hurricane Ida and a couple other things. And there's some foreign aid in there. There is some foreign aid in there. Now, Mitch McConnell has a competing bill that also has some foreign aid in there as well. So both the Democrats and the Republican bill both have foreign aid. I don't know why they do this, but both parties, just to be fair, because again, I don't consider myself from either party, both parties have foreign aid in there, which is unbelievable that these parties do this. But in this bill that passed last night, all the Democrats voted to prevent a government shutdown and to raise the debt limit ceiling, but all the Republicans voted no on it. So at this point, we're going to see a government shutdown and the debt limit, and we're going to see the government default unless something changes based on this vote. And the reason is because even though that vote passed in the House, it has to go to the Senate. So the vote passed in the House, but the Senate, if we get all the Republicans to vote no in the Senate, the vote's not going to pass. We're going to need 10 Republicans to vote yes in the Senate, and it's not going to pass in the Senate with that. So we're going to need 10 Republicans to vote yes in the Senate, and the vote will not pass in the Senate with that. So we're going to see. That could happen today. Remember, that vote happened last night, passed the House, but it won't pass the Senate if we don't get 10 Republicans to vote yes. And remember, not a single Republican voted yes in the House out of 211 Republicans. Here's what's on the line if they don't raise the debt limit. A default on the debt could cost millions of jobs and wipe out trillions of dollars in wealth based on new research. This is how serious this is, guys. That this could cost Americans $15 trillion and 5 million jobs if it doesn't, or I'm sorry, 6 million jobs if it doesn't raise the debt ceiling, according to a new Moody's research. 6 million jobs. Again, this has never happened. Okay, this is not a government shutdown. A government shutdown is serious, but not raising the debt ceiling, the government running out of money and essentially going temporarily bankrupt, even if just for a matter of days, is a very serious thing. And the government having the AAA credit rating smashed is no joke, guys. It's no joke. Sending a message to the world that the United States can't be trusted to pay its bills and could default on its bills is a serious message. And headlines like this, just sending these headlines to the world, is already a serious message. I mean, if you think the rest of the world is not reading headlines like this, they are. They are. I mean, this is already national news. Yeah, check this out. Failure to raise the limit on how much the US can borrow could spark one of the biggest stock market crashes in history and could erase trillions of dollars in household wealth, Moody's Analytics said in a Tuesday report. Congress has mere weeks to avoid that, and progress so far has been slow. Democrats are pushing forward with their own bill to suspend the debt limit, allowing the government to keep borrowing cash and paying off its bills. But Republican lawmakers have made it clear that they won't support such legislation, and Democrats' slim majority in the Senate means any dissent within their ranks could kill the effort. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has warned the government will hit the ceiling in mid-October. If the limit isn't lifted by then, the country faces cataclysmic economic fallout. Economists led by Mark Zandi said the team's simulations show a default on U.S. debt, powering a downturn similar to that seen during the Great Recession. Gross domestic product would slide by nearly 4%. The country would lose almost 6 million jobs, and the unemployment rate would surge to 9% from 5.2%. Stock prices would crash by 1/3 during the worst of the sell off. The market would nosedive and would swiftly wipe out $15 trillion of household wealth. Quote, if lawmakers are unable to increase or suspend the debt limit, the resulting chaos in global financial markets would be difficult to bear. And Moody's economist said, adding the U.S. global economies still have a long way to recover from this recession. Former President Donald Trump says that the Republicans would be, quote, foolish and unpatriotic not to use the debt ceiling in negotiations. I can maybe understand if it's part of negotiations, but if it's at the expense of the American people, and if we see any fallout from this, that's a different story, right? I mean, I'm all for negotiations between parties. I understand negotiations are a part of this. Um, but if we start to see fallout like we're maybe starting to see now already, that is a different story. That is a different story. Former President Donald Trump also is in the headlines here within the last 48 hours that he wants to remove Mitch McConnell from Senate Majority Leader. And he's been shopping around quietly between the Senate Republicans and about possibly having a new Senate Minority Leader, leader of the Republicans in the Senate. Mitch McConnell's the minority leader, but he's the leader of the Republicans in the Senate. But so far, few Republicans are willing to join former President Donald Trump right now, which is expected to be the next Republican candidate for president. Wall Street Journal has been running this story here that former President Donald Trump is looking for a challenger to depose Mitch McConnell and to remove him as the leader of the Republicans in the Senate, and that Trump is looking for a new leader of the Senate, as Mitch McConnell and Trump have been at odds since last year when Mitch McConnell blocked that $1,400 stimulus check, and Trump has not liked that, and that cost pretty much all of America an extra $1,400 stimulus check. That $1,400 stimulus check would have went out to Americans underneath Trump in December, and then Biden would have came into office with Trump having sent out 3 stimulus checks, and then we know Biden would have wanted to send out stimulus checks as well. We know Biden wouldn't have sent out 0. We would have had 3 stimulus checks under Trump, and then Biden would have had to come in and said, well, I got to send out some too just to catch up. So we probably missed out on a full $1,400 stimulus check simply because Mitch McConnell blocked it because he was majority leader at the time. Here's another interesting story. Chicago, the city of Chicago, is pitching a $500 per month universal basic income for the poor. Check this out. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot wants to give out 5,000 of Chicago, the city of Chicago, Windy City's poorest household, $500 a month, no strings attached. This is called Universal Basic Income. And this is going out in all sorts of different cities across the United States as part of a monthly stimulus check program or a universal basic income program. And now this the Chicago mayor, Lori Lightfoot, wants to do this as well. The payments would be part of Lori Lightfoot's proposed, that's a pretty cool name, Lori Lightfoot. What a cool name. Of her proposed $16.7 billion budget plan, which depends heavily on federal relief money to fill in the city's spending gaps. The monthly $500 installments would total around $31.5 million and would last 1 year and assist hard hit low income families in need of additional economic stability, Lightfoot said. City aldermen in Chicago have debated this type of universal basic income earlier in 2021, and blue states such as New York and California have already experimented with similar programs. Chicago is set to take in almost $1.9 billion in federal money, which Lori Lightfoot reportedly hopes to use to fill in budget gaps caused in part by mounting pension costs. So if you're from Chicago, this is a proposal. This is not in there yet. It's not passed yet, but this is something that could be coming here soon. So look into it. There are monthly stimulus check type programs like this called the Mayors for Guaranteed Income program, as you can see here on this screen, all across the United States, with the Mayors for Guaranteed Income program, that are sending out monthly checks or monthly stimulus checks or guaranteed income, whatever you want to call it, all across the United States in small pilot programs like this already being done. Already being done. Universal basic income or monthly stimulus checks, whatever you want to call it, across all these different cities across the United States. There's Miami Gardens and Gainesville, Florida are down here as well. I'm not sure if I'm in the corner here. I can't see myself when I'm in picture-in-picture like this when I'm filming. But yeah, so this is already being done across all these different cities across the United States. And more are being announced here pretty much on a monthly basis, with potentially Chicago being added here as well for 5,000 different families. So let me know your thoughts on this. So we have basically all these different things coming on. The infrastructure vote is going to be on the 27th. The stimulus package was supposed to be voted on before then. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. It's going to be a very, very tight timeline. So they've been drafting the bill in the background. The stimulus package was supposed to be voted on before the infrastructure package, but whether that's going to happen or not, I don't even know, because really this the government shutdown and the debt ceiling has really kind of thrown everything on its head right now. The government will shut down on September 30th at midnight if they don't come to an agreement. They need to come to an agreement between the Republicans and the Democrats to do that. But the problem is the Republicans that don't want to raise the debt ceiling, even though we have to raise the debt ceiling or else the government will default. The Republicans are saying they don't want to raise the debt ceiling because the Democrats can raise the debt ceiling on their own through the reconciliation process, which is true. The Democrats can do that. The problem with that is that we know the reconciliation is this long, drawn-out process, right? And the reconciliation bill, the stimulus package, is this bill that's like 5,000 and some probably pages. We don't even know because they haven't released it all to the public. They've only released like 800 pages to the public. They're still drafting parts of the bill. We have Senator Joe Manchin that doesn't even agree with the bill. He only wants the bill to be 1.5 trillion. We have other Democrats that want the SALT tax increase to be removed from the bill. We have Kirsten Sinema that says if we don't vote on the physical infrastructure package on the 27th, that she's not going to vote for the bill. So we have all these different Democrats that are like putting their own demands on the bill, that if you don't do this and if you don't do that, then I'm not going to vote for the bill, and I'm not going to vote for the bill, and I'm not going to vote for the bill. And remember, if we get a single senator that says no, then we can't pass the bill. And if we get more than 3 House representative Democrats that say no, then we can't pass the bill. If we can't pass the bill, can't raise the debt ceiling, then the government defaults. If the government defaults, government has no money, government can't pay out anything that has to do with government money, or in theory, because remember, the government has never defaulted. So if the government defaults, we actually don't really know what's going to happen because it's never happened. So it'd be like saying, well, the world's going to end. What would happen if the world ends? Well, we don't really know because the world has never ended. So it'd be like saying this all would happen in theory, right? So yeah, so a lot of this is like, we've seen some articles that say Social Security won't be able to pay out. We have seen some articles that say Social Security won't be affected because Social Security has its own pot of money, but then the government will be shut down. So will Social Security be even be there to pay out? I think Social Security will. First of all, this is supposed to happen sometime in mid-October. Okay, mid-October, just for the debt limit ceiling. But the government shutdown will be on October 1st. So two different issues, okay? Government shutdown October 1st if they don't get that done before. They could get a government shutdown completed before then. But the debt limit ceiling sometime in mid-October. Yeah. And then we have the infrastructure vote on the 27th, and the stimulus package, which is up in the air, which was supposed to be done before the 27th, which we'll have to see if and when. And I'll keep you up to date on all this because all this stuff is really in the balance and up in the air. Either way, I'll let you know the truth on what's going happening. I'll show you articles right there on the screen so you know it's the truth. I'll give you interviews from these people when and if possible, whether it's Mitch McConnell, whether it's the Democrats, whether it's the president, no matter who it is, I'll show it to you directly from them if possible, articles, and I'll give you my thoughts in the process. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear it. So make sure to subscribe down below. New videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribing is completely free to do so. Click the bell icon next to the subscribe button to get reminder notifications when we go live with new videos. You can also click the share button down below to share this video with your friends and family so that they don't miss out as well. You can click this video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video, how there could be a $1,000 stimulus check for seniors included in this next package. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.